time. I'm using two different Bibles.
Welcome, my friends, to Bible and Revelations. Today we're going with the first book of Daniel. I won't waste your time. Daniel 1. In the third year of the kingship of Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and proceeded to lay siege to it. In time, Jehovah gave into his hand Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, and a part of the utensils of the house of the true God, so that he brought them to that land of Shinar, to the house of his God, and the utensils he brought to the treasure house of his God. Then the king said to Ashpenaz, his chief court official, to bring some of the sons of Israel, and of the royal offspring, and of the nobles, children in whom there was no defect at all, but good in appearance, and having insight into all wisdom, and being acquainted with knowledge, and having discernment of what is known, in whom also there was ability to stand in the palace of the king, and to teach them the writing and the tongue of the Chaldeans. Furthermore, to them the king appointed a daily allowance from the delicacies of the king, and from his drinking wine, even to nourish them for 3 years, that at the end of these they might stand before the king. Now there happened to be among them some of the sons of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah, and to them the principal court official went assigning names. So he assigned to Daniel the name of Belteshazzar, and to Hananiah he called him Shadrach, and to Mishael he called him Meshach, and to Azariah he called him Abednego. So he changed their names, I guess, so that like if we get people here from Russia and their name is like 10 consonants and one vowel, we'll call them Tim or Mike or something that we can pronounce. Probably along those lines. But Daniel determined in his heart that he would not pollute himself with the delicacies of the king and with his drinking wine. And he kept requesting of the principal court official that he might not pollute himself. Accordingly, the true God gave Daniel over to loving kindness and to mercy before the principal court official. So the principal court official said to Daniel, I am in fear of my lord the king, who has appointed your food and your drink. Why then should he see your faces dejected, looking in comparison with the children who are of the same age as yours? And why should you have to make my head guilty to the king? So he was saying, the king sent me here, and I'm supposed to give you the best food available. I'm offering it to you. You're turning it down. The king is going to blame me. But Daniel said to the guardian, whom the principal court official had appointed over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, please put your servants to the test for 10 days, and let them give us some vegetables that we may eat and water that we may drink, and let our countenances and the countenance of the children who are eating the delicacies of the king appear before you, and according to what you see, do with your servants. So he said he wanted vegetables and water to drink, and he was saying, I assure you, let us eat this. Give us 10 days, and if we don't get sick and we look healthy, then please let us eat our own way. Finally, he listened to them as regards this matter, and put them to the test for 10 days. And at the end of the 10 days, their countenances appeared better and fatter in flesh than all the children who were eating the delicacies of the king. So the diet that Daniel wanted, the vegetables and water, nourished him, and they looked healthier than the other people who were eating all the delicacies. Maybe it was too much fat in it, or it was just maybe foreign. I don't know. So the guardian kept on taking away their delicacies and their drinking wine, and giving them vegetables. And as for these children, the four of them, to them the true God gave knowledge and insight in all writing and wisdom. And Daniel himself had understanding in all sorts of visions and dreams. And at the end of the days that the king had said to bring them in, the principal court official also proceeded to bring them in before Nebuchadnezzar. And the king began to speak with them, and out of them all no one was found like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Okay, so Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah, they were the most outstanding of all the young people that were taken out of his, that were to be leaders, go-betweens. And as regards every matter of wisdom and understanding that the king inquired about from them, he even got to find them 10 times better than all the magic practicing priests and the conjurers that were in all his royal realm. And Daniel continued on until the first year of Cyrus the king. So Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Babylon, or Shinar. He besieged Jerusalem in 606 BC, and then returned to his own land, taking many hostages with him. Putting the holy things from the Jewish temple into the temple of his God was Nebuchadnezzar's declaration that Israel's God could not save his people from defeat. In that day, to conquer a nation was also to conquer the god or gods of that nation. Nebuchadnezzar's 3-year training course for Daniel and the other gifted young men included immersion in the Chaldean language, a very difficult tongue, and instruction in all of Babylon's learning, including astronomy, astrology, architecture, literature, and religion. Chaldea is another name for Babylon. The word is also associated with magic and divination, which were important in this culture. Daniel and his 3 friends were in a very pagan environment indeed. Their captors changed the names of the 4 Jewish youths, but they could not change their hearts. The meat and the wine would have been leftover portions of sacrifices to the Babylonian gods. Jewish law did not directly prohibit learning the language and culture of a foreign nation or accepting the name assigned by a foreign king, but to eat unclean food, especially that which had been associated with pagan sacrifice, was viewed as participating in the worship of false gods, and was an act of defilement. Purposed in his heart means that Daniel decided ahead of time what his convictions would be, an important step for all believers in avoiding compromise. God gave Daniel favor with the people who counted. Daniel was safer as a captive in a foreign land in the will of God than he would have been in Jerusalem out of God's will. His fear of the Lord kept him from fear of the king. Another key to resisting temptation or compromise. Conviction. Confidence in the Lord, courage. This 10-day test would publicly prove that their success could only be attributed to God. A diet of vegetables would not give these men a healthy appearance. Only God could have done it. Okay, I'm going to have to end here. I'll try to remember. Conviction and confidence in the Lord, courage. This 10-day test would publicly prove that their success can only be attributed to God. In contrast to Babylonian magicians, Daniel's ability to interpret dreams and visions derived from the one true God, not from human initiative or manipulation. Okay, thank you very much.
Hello, my friends. Thank you for joining.
And God bless you.